Friends, Miss Natalie here. Today I am going to show you how to create a sphere that has three dimensionals, creating form via value in Krita. I'm going to start in some paint layers. I'm going to make an ellipse, use my ellipse tool. You can see I chose under tool options to fill with my foreground color. That makes it a filled in uh, ellipse, and I chose my midtone to do that. The next thing I'm going to do is decide where my light source is going to be so I can think about my highlights and my shadows. After that, I'm going to choose the contiguous selection tool, which looks like a magic wand. If I click on that, it chooses just the circle, just that circle. And then when I make another layer, which I did, and click on that little A that's inherit alpha, sorry, it will keep anything that I draw on that next layer within the confines of the circle from the layer before it. You can see I'm kind of going over the edge there. I'm laying in my core shadow with a dry bristle brush. The core shadow in this case is going to be my darkest because I didn't put in a cast shadow on this piece, but as you can see, I'm laying in my core shadow, um, going around the sphere to keep that shape going, adding the value. Here I'm putting in another shadow value, something that's between my core shadow and my midtone. Um, keeping that circle going to give the illusion of three dimensions. And I think I've gone back to my core shadow because I realized it wasn't quite dark enough. So then I'm bringing that back and adding another layer, making sure I click on the little A to inherit alpha each time. Now I'm doing kind of a secondary highlight color, so a slightly lighter color than my midtone, and I'm also using that same color for my reflected light on the edge, you can see. And I'm like, oh wait, that's too much reflected light, so I went back and deleted some of it because the reflected light really should be not a whole lot. And then making another layer eventually. I know I'm going to do that, and choosing my brush, going back to that brush presets, which is nice to have, and putting in the highlight. Now I could just stop there. But I'm not gonna. No, I'm going to blend. I'm going to use my Blender Basic brush and hide all the layers and blend it out layer by layer. Now the thing is, when you're using a blending brush, you're kind of like pushing the color around. So if you push into where the color is, you're gonna kind of get rid of some of the color. And if you push out from where the color is, then you are adding and smoothing the color out. It's hard to describe. You can see me do it. It's really easier if you just get the tool and play around with it and see how it works for you. So here I am trying to blend this core shadow more, taking a long time doing it with that Blender Basic brush tool. And of course using the Freehand tool. Then I'm going to, when I'm done with my core shadow, I'm going to move on to the next layer, which is kind of my in-between core and midtone, and blending that out. And I'm not blending the two colors together. Since I'm doing it on a separate layer, I'm really just kind of smoothing, feathering it out. So that it's blending into the nothing that is in that layer. Again, hard to describe. You can kind of see what's happening with your eyes, and you even get a better feel for it if you are doing it yourself. Almost done here, and then I am going to go to the next layer, make it, oh, yeah, gotta remember the top part. Gotta blend all the bits. And I might even go back to the core shadow and blend again, kind of back and forth from one layer to another. Make sure when you go unhide that next layer that you actually go to it and use it. Um, it will tell you if you're on a layer that is hidden. You cannot actually work on a hidden layer. So yeah, I spent a lot of time trying to blend this out. All right, now I'm on my pre-highlight layer, blending that in, making more of that mid-tone visible, and blending it in, and then blending my highlight. And again, oh yeah, forgot, gotta blend that reflected light too. That's got to be blended. What did I do? Whoops, there we go. And now I really actually, once I get this blended, I could stop there again if I wanted to. That does have form, but no, I'm going to get even more detailed. I am going to use the Blender Blur. And in this case, I'm going to have all my layers visible, and I'm going to start with my highlight and just blur in lovely circles around and kind of moving, and you can see it's getting smoother and smoother. Again, I'm doing it in the separate layers though. If you want, when you have everything totally blended and blurred, to try to like put all your layers together at the end and blend it one more time, that you can do that. You can merge the layer below by either clicking on Control E while you're on a layer and it will merge it with a layer below it, or you can right click on the layer itself and one of the options in the menu is merge with layer below. But at this point I am still just working in the individual layers. But here I go, I'm merging, merge, 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 and just blending it out just a tiny bit more with those layers merged. It is a completely different experience because now you are blending the two colors together and getting something that's in between those two colors. Um, I could have blended this for hours more, honestly. At some point, you just have to say, yo, this is done and I like it. So I'm almost at that point. But as I said before, the best way to learn is to do, whoops, sorry about that. And so I think you should open up Krita and try your hand at making some